How's it going, Wildlife? My name is Trent, and this past weekend, Johnny talked with us about cyberbullying and gave us some biblical and practical advice on how to love others on social media and on the internet. And he shared with us 1 John chapter 4, verses 19 through 21. And I want to break that passage down for you guys verse by verse so you know how to specifically use it to love others on social media and on the internet. And verse 19 says, we love because he first loved us, and that's what it's all about. We want to be loving other people. Why? Because Jesus loved us. And for 2 Corinthians chapter 5 tells us that we are to be ambassadors for Christ. And so everywhere we go, including on our phones and on our computers, we want to be reflecting the love that Jesus showed us. And verse 20 says, whoever claims to love God yet hates a brother or sister is a liar. For whoever does not love their brother and sister whom they have seen cannot love God whom they have not seen. And so if we're not loving our brothers and sisters, or we're calling ourselves Christians and we're saying we love God, then we're a liar. So this is very serious that we need to be loving our brothers and sisters. And verse 21 ties it all together and says, and he has given us this command, anyone who loves God must also love their brother and sister. And you might notice the text doesn't say, and he has given us this suggestion, anyone who loves God should also love their brother and sister. But it says it's a command, not a suggestion. And that we must love others, not should. And so the text is being very serious that if we're going to call ourselves Christians, we got to have this. We got to be loving other people the way Jesus has loved us. And so you might be thinking, okay, well, I get it. It's very serious, but I don't know how to do that. And so I have two important questions that we can be asking ourselves to kind of help make sure that we're loving others on social media and to tell us maybe we're not and we got to change. And so let's ask ourselves these two questions, starting with, is what I'm saying and posting loving to others? So before you post something on Instagram or before you send that text, ask yourself, is what I'm saying to them the love that Jesus has shown me? Because if it's not, maybe I should say something more encouraging or uplifting. And the second question we can ask ourselves is, how do I stand up when I see that others are not being loving? And maybe you see someone that says something about someone else that it's not very kind, it's not very encouraging. Maybe you talk to them privately and say, hey, I don't necessarily think this was the most Christ-like or the most uplifting thing to say. And in that, you can confront them with a spirit of gentleness so that they can change and that they can be loving their brothers and sisters. And so maybe you see someone that isn't being loved. And so if they're not being loved, you can encourage them with some scriptures, or you can remind them that they are known and loved by God and that Jesus came and died for them and that they can have hope in that. And that even though people aren't saying the nicest things about them, maybe Jesus is saying the nicest things about them because he died for them. And so social media can be used for a lot of great things. It can be used to uplift people and to encourage people and to share scriptures. But it can also be used for the opposite. It can be used in a pretty negative way, and it can hurt a lot of people. So we need to ask ourselves, like I said, is what I'm saying and posting loving? Is what I'm saying and posting loving to others? And how can I stand up when I see that others are not being loving? Really, because loving our brothers and sisters, again, is not a suggestion, it's a command. So the more we press into God's word and the more we let God's word change us, the more we will begin to love other people on social media and the more we will become a light to the digital world.